fans, check it out. The Brilliant Michael Sullivan, the Handsome Matt Faulkner. Welcome home, kids. I hope you brought your laundry. First, before Michael and Matt tell, I'd like to have the opportunity to work with one of the distinguished minds in all of Orioles baseball.
Do we have a guest? Do we
I
have a
want to
guest?
get. I want
I'm just curious.
to.
Because who's that? Do we have a guest, Joe?
I want to do Taylor Ward first.
All right, go ahead.
I want to do Taylor Ward first. So let me, gentlemen, let me bring up the graphic here so everybody can play along. And here we go. So Taylor Ward to the Seattle Mariners. Right? Not too shabby. We get Alex Hoppe, Harrison Creeling, and Brock Moore. Now, Michael is a very busy man. I'm a very dizzy man. Matt Faulkner, I think you actually do your homework. Who are these fellas? You have any idea?
No, I mean, I did a little bit of research after the trade was announced. None of
I
them
knew it.
are highly regarded. They're not top 30 prospects with the Mariners, but I'll be honest, it's not a return that I was surprised because I mean, Taylor Ward has not been good. I mean, his power numbers have dropped significantly. I know that
Matt, hold on a second. Don't say he's not been good. His power numbers have dropped. He's like in the top 10 in the American League on base percentage.
Okay,
he's not been what they
exactly what we all wanted.
He's not been what they hoped he would be. But don't say he hasn't been good because, as a matter of fact, he's been the best guy on the team.
But
in getting on base, scoring runs. I mean, he's been the best guy on the team other than Pete Alonso.
But see, I think his defense in left field has been terrible all season. So whatever he was giving you about getting on base, you lost it by how bad he was defensively. And so to me, I was thrilled that they got rid of him. I really honestly am not even concerned about what they got because I didn't want him back after the season anyway. I know that some people were saying you could have given him a qualifying offer and maybe you get a draft pick for him if he goes somewhere. But to me, I'm good with getting rid of him. I don't know what they'll do to fill out the roster outfield wise if they don't make another move prior to 6 o'clock. I don't know if Heston Kjerstad's a guy that gets brought up, if Reed Trimble is, but I was fine getting rid of Taylor Ward and these three pitchers. They're all lottery tickets. One of them has pitched in the big leagues with like a +5 ERA in relief. But I was fine with the move.
I don't have any problem.
Lay it on us, Michael.
I don't have any problem with the move, right? Because he's a free agent after the year. I get it. I don't have a problem with it. I guess the only thing that I would say is that right-handed hitting outfielders were at a premium at this trade deadline. And, I know, Matt, you can say, well, he didn't hit for power. He didn't do what we expected him to do. And that's absolutely true. But the guy's got a 370 on base percentage, second on the team in scoring runs. And I mean, I'm not going to say I am kind of disappointed in the return because the return is a typical Mike Elias return. Like you look at the stats of the guys that he got back and you go, I'm not going to say it. What the hell? Why are you trading him for these guys? And that means it's Mike Elias and his analytic guys going, we like this guy's spin rate. We like this guy's velocity. We like this guy. Like, that's what it is. And that has not worked out super great for this team. So I'm not surprised they got rid of him. I'm fine that they got rid of him. The thing that baffles me about this, and we'll get to Rutschman in a second, is when he says, Elias, that he wants to go for it and go for a wild card spot, you've just created a giant empty hole in left field, and you have nobody to replace him. You're shaking your head, Matt. Who replaces him?
Well, I think, for the short term, you could run Dylan Beavers out in left field. You play Kyle.
Okay, but who else? There's 3 outfield spots, Matt.
Right.
Who
Well,
else?
I guess that means Joe's boy Tyler O'Neill might get some more run out there in right field. I mean,
yeah, well, that's great, right? Let's run another guy out there who hits under. Let's run another guy out there who hits 200.
I'm not going to miss Taylor Ward at the plate just taking strikes and looking for walks. Like,
dude, his on base percentage is 360, 370. You can say whatever you want, but who are we going to replace him with?
Anybody.
Tyler O'Neill, Dylan Beavers, Leody Taveras, and Colton Cowser. Those are the guys. That's all we have.
Yeah, I mean,
that's all we have.
Don't think they're losing that much with Taylor Ward. I don't think that.
What are you talking about? He scored the second most runs on the team. He has the most hits on the team. What are you talking about?
I just look
they don't have another outfielder who has been productive at all. They have nobody. It's easy for you to say, I don't think they're losing much. But he has, in fact, been the best hitting outfielder that they have.
But
that's just a fact, Matt.
So that might be all fine and good, but would you say that that's more of a reflection on how bad the rest of the outfield has been?
When everybody else is hitting 220 or less,
he's bad.
Yes. Who are you going to replace him with? Somebody who's hitting 220?
Yeah, I mean, sure.
I'm done. I'll shut up.
All right. Hey, Matt, let me step in here a second. Let me tell you what happens. And we love Michael here. You know, I've said that behind his back. But every once in a while, I got to throw him a line and reel him in. So here we go. It doesn't matter. The team's not going anywhere. And I wanted his on base percentage to be 148. But I wanted 19 home runs at this point.
Joe, look, fine. I'll agree with you that we wanted more power, but please don't say something stupid like, oh, I don't care whether his on base percentage was 200 if he hit 10 home runs, 20 home runs. That's just moronic, okay? That's moronic. The guy had scored the second most runs on the team.
Yeah. I would rather have David Justice in 2003.
Thanks. What are you watching? Moneyball? What are you watching? Moneyball, Joe?
No, I'm just saying. I'd take Hatterberg over this cat.
Yeah, sure. Right, right. Again, you definitely are watching Moneyball.
I love Moneyball. My bar is here, Michael. That's where I'm taking us. My bar is here.
All right.
Can you imagine when you came on one time when we were live on a Friday and asked us a question, and I said, "Hey, Matt, I got to answer this when our boss is on."
Yeah.
Okay, so all right, guys, here we go. Let's get to the Adley Rutschman trade, and I just love it. I love it so much. God, it just someday you guys will learn. Here we go. Where are you at, Adley? Where are you? Here we are. We got Adley Rutschman going to the Boston Red Sox. They'll never trade him to someone within the division. For Carlos Navarez. We put him off to the side for a second. Anthony Irons, looks like Ianson, Kyson Witherspoon, sounds like a guy I beat up in the 9th grade.
Joe, I don't believe. I'm just going to say right now, Joe,
Harold
I don't believe
Rivas.
you ever beat anybody up. But go
ahead. Matt Faulkner, who now you did some probably not dumb research, but skimmed research for Taylor Ward. But Adley, can you bring the pain here on this when these guys are number 2, some of them and this and that?
Yeah,
Go.
I mean, Ianson and Witherspoon are both highly regarded. Ianson was the number 2 prospect with the Red Sox. I think he's like top 50 in baseball. Witherspoon was their number 4. Obviously, Narvaez, it will be their, he was on their big league club, so he'll probably be the backup catcher once Basayo comes back, because Jake Rogers, which I didn't catch, Jake Rogers was also included in this deal with Rushman, so he is also going to Boston as well. I mean, I'll be honest, like, I was surprised
his name didn't make the alert.
I was
Jesus
surprised they
Christ.
traded him. I was. I mean, I kind of thought that maybe they would at least wait until the offseason. I didn't necessarily see them doing this now, particularly in the division. People make a big deal about that. But if the return was the best from the Red Sox and you're set on trading Rushman, then I guess you kind of have to understand where the Orioles were. I mean, do you take a lesser deal to trade him out of the division? I don't think that makes any sense. Was he going to resign? Everything that I've read said that he was not. So, I mean, I know you've been in the fan club of trading him since, it seems like May. So I know you're loving this. I don't love it, obviously, because, he was the first pick under Mike Elias. He was 1-1 and he doesn't even get an extension. So it's like, it's disappointing because you look at where this team was 2 or 3 years ago and where it is right now after this trade. And it's kind of sad to think about what this core, and I know, you still have Gunnar, you still have Jackson Holiday, but I mean, it's kind of a tough pill to swallow because of the fact that he was their number 1 pick.
I say something to Michael Sullivan. Oh, go ahead.
What I'm going to say about this trade is, I don't typically like to say that Mike Elias has lied to us, right? Because I
you're going to say
really
Joe was right. That's what I thought you were just about to say.
No, I'm going to send you this, but you can turn it upside down. So I don't like to say that Mike Elias has lied to us, because I don't believe that's true. But if you're going to tell us you're going to go for it, right? Which he told us when they were 2 or 3 games back of the wild card, and they're still just 2.5 games back of the wild card. And then you trade your 2 best trade chips for guys who can't help you this year. That seems like you lied to us, right? Like if you had traded let's say if you packaged Adley Rutschman, Tyler Ward to go get somebody who was, because Adley Rutschman, in fact, was the one guy you could trade that wouldn't create a hole that you had to fill, right? If you traded him with Tyler Ward to get somebody who is a good on-base, consistent outfielder with some control, like I'd understand that might be showing me that you wanted to do something this year. But when you trade Tyler Ward and Adley Rutschman for a bunch of guys who aren't going to help you this year, that's like I'm waving the white flag, which is not what he said he would do. And that's what it looks like he's done.
All right. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to stop the show, Michael. Whenever you and I agree, there is no reason to continue. We appreciate it, folks. God bless you. Michael, here's the thing. A couple of weeks ago, Matt Faulkner, as I'm sure you recall, he's all in, I think was his words. Yeah. Okay. And then we discussed it. Hey, look, we got this stretch now. I even said, and I quote, okay, folks, I'm going to leave Adley alone. But we have X amount of games now. And when these X amount of games are over, everybody is then in play. Now, Michael, here's where you and I agree on a couple of things here. One, Mike Elias, I don't know if he lied to us. I think the circumstance changed and he had to pivot, right? And also, at the end of the day, the white flag is waved. There's no reason not to waive it at this point. There's no reason. We needed like a decent, maybe a third baseman. We needed a closer, maybe one more starter, and that was just a bridge too far.
Well, Joe,
So far
I'm
as
going to disagree with.
buying.
I'm going to disagree with you on what the needs were. We don't need one more starter. Um, we don't need one more starter. Do we need a third baseman? Yeah, sure, but he's not going to invest much in a third baseman because Westberg coming back next year. And outfielder, this is the difficult one for me, Joe. Yes, we need an outfielder, but the biggest commodity that we have to trade is an outfielder. You know, it's like we think we're going to trade Taylor Ward, who has a great on base percentage, which a lot of teams would be interested in, and we're going to get what? We're going to get another outfielder? Not going to happen. And so we were in a
That's what made
situation
me
where
laugh.
the stuff that we have to trade was exactly the stuff that we wanted back. We're going to trade an outfielder who can hit, but we need an outfielder who can hit. We're going to trade Trevor Rogers, but, well, we can't because we still need the pitcher. So it was just a horrible mismatch of what we had to offer and what we hope to get back.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I think it's to a point where they didn't care right now what backs as far as, hey, look, we need an on base guy who was an outfielder, and perhaps Michael, if correct me if I'm wrong, that what we got back aren't a bunch of major league ready on base outfield guys, right?
We got
I don't
nothing
think
back for the
that
major leagues. Nothing.
he cares about that in the organization. I think that they figure this season's over, respectfully. We'll see what these young fellas look like in the minor leagues. Maybe we'll get one or two of them up in the September season. We'll address what is needed. Is an on base person at the top of the lineup, et cetera, again, Navarez, that's why I put him to the side. Okay. I really wanted to address that before my ADD kicks in.
I mean,
Navarez
if he doesn't,
was a
if he
throw
doesn't
in this
make if he
deal.
doesn't make another move, I have to presume
Yeah.
that Kerstad is going to come up and he's going to play.
Yeah.
And
Well,
that's okay because you
What
got
I'm
to figure out what he's going to do. And you basically have also said we're not going to compete. So,
yeah.
well,
But
well,
Navarez is your backup catch. He's perfect for what I was talking about because again, you have Sammy Vasallo. He is a more of a DH. He probably DHs as much as he catches. And Navarez can catch a lion's share of games. So
yeah,
I got to tell you,
Basayo is
Navarez
never going
was
to be a
also
full time
younger
catcher.
than Jake Rogers. I mean,
Basayo is never going to be a full time
no,
catcher. I
no. I
think you
mean,
and I agree
doesn't
with that.
matter now that we
Yeah,
got Navarez.
yeah.
So give me a grade, Matt Faulkner, of this trade, Adley Rutschman trade, what you know about what return, and then I'll ask you the same question. I need a grade on the from both of you on Taylor Ward.
well, we'll start with Rushman. Obviously, it's so hard because you're dealing with prospects, and you're trying to project what they can and will be. Obviously, I hate that they made the move. I hate that they traded him to the Red Sox. But if you were to take that out of the equation and that they had traded him to another team and they had gotten these guys back, I probably put it at I don't know, a B minus. They needed pitching. That's obviously a commodity that every team needs. You can never have enough of it. You look at their farm system now with those two additions. You've got a lot of arms now. Joseph Jawara is one. It's another young up and coming pitcher, and it kind of makes me wonder if Trevor Rogers is a guy that we maybe see move before 6 o'clock. Because to me, unless they're planning on reaching an extension with Rodgers, if you're trading Rushman, you're trading Ward, it tells the team that you're selling. Rodgers is really the other player that you're going to get the most return from. So if you're not thinking that he's going to be a part of the future after this season, why keep him? Because, trading Rushman, you're not getting any better. Taylor Ward is another player that you create a hole, at the big league level for. So you're kind of saying we're not trying to get into the wild card race the rest of this season. Trade Rodgers now while he's healthy and he's pitching well, and get the most value for him if that's the stance that you're going to take at the deadline.
Yeah, I mean, I get you, Matt, and I don't want to get into all the he said, she said. He says that he wants to stay in Baltimore, and he said, or his agent said, nobody's talked to us. But the Orioles have said they didn't want to talk to him about an extension during the season. So I have no idea what's true. But I will tell you this: they signed Bradish and they signed Cano. So the notion that the Orioles didn't want to talk about an extension during the season sounds to me like bullshit. That's all.
There, Michael.
Because the
You're
Orioles
right.
are doing it. They're extending guys during the season. So the notion that they didn't want to do it or whatever, I just think that's bullshit. And it may be him or maybe his agent.
And
so
maybe
anyway, I would also say, I just wanted to say, ESPN has put out like their rankings of the best guys who got traded during the best prospects who got traded so far. And so far, 3 of the 5 guys the Orioles got are among those guys. Anthony Ianson, the pitcher, Endy Azakar, the outfielder, and Kyson Witherspoon. So 3 of the top, I'm so sorry, say 4 of the top 9 guys, 4 of the top prospects of the 9 guys who have been traded, they're saying are guys that the Orioles acquired. Now, I'm not going to say I'm happy about that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Because, Elias said, oh, we're going to go for it. Well, that's bullshit because they didn't trade for any major league talent. They didn't trade for anything that's going to help them go for it. Nothing. They traded guys that they don't have holes to fill and that they don't have anybody to fill the holes. And, I mean, that's what he chose to do. But as I've said all season long, he ain't going anywhere. We got questions, so do you want to take some of those, Joe?
Yeah, let's get but Michael, before we do, give me a grade. Give me a grade. I don't care if it's an F. Just throw one at us. The folks pay for this.
on Ward, I would just say a C. Because who knows? On Rutschman, I would say a B because they got higher rated prospects, but can't give anybody an A because they're just prospects. Who knows, right? Matt, I see you shrugging.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Yeah, I mean it's so hard because the prospect rankings are, they're great, but there's all kinds of guys that are highly rated and then they never develop, and then there's guys on the other side that are never rated that come out of nowhere. So, I mean, I think we'll have to revisit this within a couple years and kind of look back on it. What I'll also say, and we kind of touched on this at the beginning with the Taylor Ward deal, is like people are making a big deal about not only did they trade him, but they traded him to another wild card contending team. So it's like this idea that you're helping the competition, to which I would say if the Orioles are making this move, again, they're not playing to make the playoffs this year. So I don't really look at that the same way. I just think they tried to get the most for Ward, and, who knows if they could have gotten more if they would have waited, but apparently they thought that was the right fit at the time.
I agree with you, Matt. And the other thing that I would say is that all those people who are saying saying that they didn't get enough, or all the same people were saying get Ward the hell out of here because he can't hit, he doesn't have any home runs, blah blah blah. So I'm I have no problem with trading Ward and getting what you get because he's going to be gone in 2 months. What do you expect to get?
All right. What do you expect from Mike T 6119? Who's next? Will anyone else go? Holiday, not a chance, says no. Cowser, you got a better chance of hitting the lotto, says Joe Rossano. Rogers, please, dear Lord. What do you guys say?
Matt?
Well, I mean, Rodgers obviously would make the most sense of those three. I mean, they still have an hour and a half. Something tells me that, if they haven't traded him by now, I don't know that they will, but, we'll see. There's still some time. Colton Cowser, I don't really see anybody really wanting because he's been terrible at the plate offensively. He's a really good defensive outfielder, but I think that there's not many teams that would really want him. And if they were to try to get him, I don't think you would really get much for him at this point. Jackson Holiday, I did hear some rumblings of the Padres potentially gauging the interest of potentially a trade with the Orioles, but I think that's far-fetched as well. I don't see them trading Holiday at all. I think that's not realistic.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say the two things that I will say about that is that in one way, it's shocking that Elias traded Rutschman because it's a real sort of condemnation on his own efforts to rebuild the team. It was his first pick, a 1-1 pick, and basically he has given up on it. And so that's hurtful enough to Elias. But to say that he would then also trade Holiday, that's just crazy talk because he's not going to do that. I mean, he shouldn't.
No.
But I can't conceive of a world in which he does that. No.
Ladies and gentlemen, people of Earth, Charismatic Sloane Johnson around the bases underscore. Wow, finally for you, Sloane Johnson from Ocean City, Maryland. Is that where you are, Sloane?
It is, yeah.
Sloane,
You're in
thank you
Ocean
for
City,
joining
Maryland,
us.
and that's the
Adley
best
Rutsch.
backdrop we got?
Yeah. I was like, there's nowhere else to set up. Maybe an ocean view. I don't know.
Take a picture of the beach and upload it, for God's sakes. Jesus.
Sloane, what do you think of Adley Rutschman to the Boston Red Sox? What are they saying on Coastal Highway about this right now?
I don't know what everyone else is saying, but I was I don't know. I'm still going through it. So I'm looking at we got a good haul. I know that. I haven't looked at it completely yet. Because I've been upset. But I caught the tail end of what you were just talking about, but I agree. I mean, getting rid of Adley is the first step of Elias saying that his rebuild kind of didn't work out. And I mean, to trade him to a division rival is just crazy to me. I don't know. I'm still suffering. That's my initial thought.
None of us even mentioned that. I don't think, did we?
I think we did.
They sure did, didn't they? Oh, okay. Yeah.
I don't know. Just go
Sloane,
go down to Bull on the Beach and have a couple buckets of beer. And
oh yeah.
Yeah, and then it'll all be fine. I'm sure you can find some people. I'm sure you can find some people at Bull on the Beach who'll be like, yeah, that was a good deal. I mean,
Yeah.
it's look, man. I think I said I think I said this to you before, Joe, is that I didn't want to trade Adley. I'm not happy to see him go. But I did eventually come around to your point of view, Joe, which I know will astound you, which which was
Mhm.
he was the one guy on this team that you could trade that didn't create a big hole that you had to fill, and who also could produce a reasonable return. And I mean, I think that's what Mike Elias did in the end. It's like, okay, well, he got a really good top pitching prospect from the Red Sox. But I did think that if he did this deal, he would be doing it to also try to help this year's team win. And I think what we've seen with both the Taylor Ward trade and this trade, he ain't trying to help them win this year.
No, he certainly isn't. Sloane Johnson, give us a grade. A, B, C. If you gave us one, I might have missed it. I'm sorry. Give us the grade.
For Adley,
Yes.
I would say like B minus.
That's what I say. B minus. It's because Sloane Johnson, they didn't get like somebody that, I wanted like a Will Warren, like somebody like we heard of who is good, pretty good now, and then you can just throw in some hodgepodge guys.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, I guess just to see just a whole bunch of minor leaguers and one backup catcher. I was surprised we just didn't get like somebody who is currently a major leaguer. I mean, think about this, guys. This is they traded Conley early. All right, a very high caliber left-handed pitcher, hurt now. Don't get me wrong, but a good major leaguer for Curtis Mead. And I don't want to live in a world where I have to think that Curtis Mead was more valuable than Adley Rutschman.
Well,
But I could be
Curtis Mead also had his hand broken in his first at bat for the Red Sox.
wrong.
So I mean,
Jesus.
they really didn't get much for him when you look at it that way.
Well,
I
and then
guess
the other part
I
of
guess
this
what I
is
was saying, what I was thinking, if you're going to trade look, Ward is one thing because he's going to be gone next year. But if I would have said trade Ward, and if you're going to trade Ward and Rutschman together for somebody who can help you
Mhm.
this year and in the future. But instead, all we got were guys who can help in the future. Maybe. We'll see.
And it's always going to be a maybe. We'll see.
Yeah.
So here we go. This one I think you'll like, Michael, is how did he lie? I'm confused. He literally said buy and sell or building for 2028 and on. It's easy to be caught up in the now. Remember, we have a first year first mistake. B, Mike Elias said he was all in. Did he not, Matt Faulkner? I mean, you're younger, respectfully. Your mind is probably a little sharper than mine. I mean, did he not say that?
I mean, he did, but if you kind of read the tea leaves, like he kind of said like he didn't really think that this roster was good enough to salvage or mortgage the
He
future.
didn't say that.
I
He
mean, he
never
said it
said
without
that,
saying
I'm
Matt.
it. I
talking
mean,
about a month and a half ago. He said we're all in, didn't he?
he
Just
didn't
a
he
few
didn't
weeks ago, he
Anybody?
said we were all in.
I don't think that he meant like we're trading our top prospects to try to supplement this big
I
old
agree
roster.
with you. I don't think he said
Yeah.
that, but I also don't think he said we're not going to do anything to try to win this year. And
He
this trade
basically said
deadline is we're not trying to do anything to win this year.
what I see them doing is they're going to spin it in the sense that they're going to say, whenever Basayo is back, which seems like it'll be within the next week or two, they can spin it and say, bringing Basayo, having him healthy is like making, a trade or adding somebody at the deadline. I know you're not going to love this, Joe. It's the same thing that they're going to say about Chris Bassett. He's probably got one more rehab start, and then he'll be back in this rotation. So you can spin it and say, we're bringing those guys who were hurt. Now they're going to be back, and it's kind of like we did something. But, it's just, to me, and I mentioned this, multiple times, with the way that the playoff system is set up with the wild card, the third wild card, there's just not as many teams that are selling compared to normal. And so the teams that are obviously out of contention are selling. The Orioles would, if they were really serious about adding and buying, they would have to really get into that bidding war that I don't think they want any parts of.
I'll agree with that. Hey, we have a guest. Let's hear from our guest. Because I'll never shut up. So.
Yeah, this morning I was
Sloane,
thinking.
what do you think? Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. Finish what you were saying.
No, we just have a question. What do you think we could get for Trevor Rogers?
Trevor Rogers, I mean, I don't know. And that's kind of what I was saying going in, like, this morning, back to what people were saying about, like, Elias lying and stuff. I thought the same thing at first, because he said, like, a couple days ago on Friday before the game, he was looking at this series and not putting, all of his eggs into one basket in terms of buying and selling. And it doesn't look like he's buying at all. So I guess we're just selling. Trevor Rogers, I don't know. I guess I don't know. I don't know if we should go for him. Yeah, he's a rental.
I guess my feeling about it is, Joe, these moves already, well, all of them, Kramer, Rutschman, Ward, none of these moves suggest that he's going all in to win or get a wild card spot. They just don't. And if that's the case, if that's what he thinks, you might as well trade Rogers. But the point is, if you're gonna trade Rogers, you better get somebody who either fills or is very close to filling one of your major league needs, which none of these trades have done. Like, if you're going to trade him, I understand you're not going to get, somebody who's a solid hitting, great defensive outfielder. But if you don't get somebody who's a AAA guy who's very close to being that, that's a bust. Like, he hasn't done anything to say I'm really worried about competing and getting the wild card. And if you're not going to do that, well, then you might as well trade Trevor Rogers and get somebody who you think next year, and I know they may not play next year, but who you think next year could be a starting outfielder for you. That's it.
I can't hear anything.
My microphone was off. Joe knows O's.
I'm here, baby.
TikTok Joe knows O's. Joe knows O's. Your turn, sir. Right off the bat, throwing you in the deep end. Adley Rutschman trade. What say you?
Here's where I disagree with all of you. I think this has the potential to be an A++ trade. It could be a franchise changing trade. I understand prospects are, kind of iffy to the Baltimore Orioles community because we don't know what they're going to be. But this is an absolute haul for a year and a half of a guy who's not even played 70 games this year. He hasn't really helped out the Orioles this year. He was terrific when he was playing, but we get a potential ace, a potential number 3, a potential starting outfielder. and we get a pretty decent catcher in Carlos Narvaez. I can't believe that they got this haul. It makes up for in my opinion, the terrible Taylor Ward trade, which I did not understand that trade at all. But man, I did not want to lose Adley Rutschman at all. I thought it was a bad time to trade him. I thought the offseason would have been the perfect time. But I understand why Elias did this when he gets offered a package like this. It's absolutely insane that the Red Sox gave this up. So kind of disagree with the fellas. Let me
Well,
know.
I'm glad you said no. Look, we love it. Well, I do, and let me tell you why. Because is Anthony Ianson, Kyson Witherspoon, Andy Azakar, Harold Rivas. I mean, I'm thinking maybe you know something I don't, because I got to tell you, I don't spend a whole lot of time in like the minor league analytics research.
Yeah,
I mean,
Anthony
are they?
Ianson has the potential to be a bona fide ace. If you look at any Boston Red Sox, I don't know, community thread, I'm not a big internet guy, even though I post on the internet, obviously. They're all that none of them can believe that they gave up Anthony Ianson in a trade for a year and a half of Adley Rutschman. So you're assuming the Red Sox think that they can extend Adley, which probably makes it a lot easier to get rid of these guys. But in every metric, this is just a massive overpay by the Boston Red Sox. What scares you is that it's the Orioles developmental system, and do they keep these guys on the right track, and do they become what they're supposed to become? And I think that's the scariest part about the trade.
I got a couple comments about that. So
Yeah.
one, look, I know that the pitcher is highly regarded, and I think that's a very good return. I'm going to push back on the notion of the Orioles developmental system. That's just it's effing bullshit, right? Like, they develop guys who tear through the minor leagues, right?
Yeah.
And perform at every single level of the minor leagues. And then when they get to the major leagues, most of them have had success. And then they pull back a little bit and then don't. And people are like, oh, well, they have a developmental problem. That's bullshit, right? You're not keeping Jackson Holliday in AAA when he's torn through 3 levels. You're not keeping Gunnar Henderson in AAA when he's torn through multiple levels. Colton Cowser, same thing. So I'm just gonna push back on that. I don't think they have a developmental problem with their players, right? Now, we got a problem with those guys not performing in the major leagues. I don't know exactly what it is, but I think it's on the players. I don't think it's on the coaches, and I don't think it's on the development. So that's that. Rutschman, is it a good haul? It may very well be a good haul, man, right?
Like, it is on paper.
I get you. It looks like it on paper. But here's one thing I will say to you. Since Adley Rutschman came to the major leagues, the Orioles are 372 and 316. 46 games above 500 in games that Adley Rutschman has played. Mm-hmm. So if you want to go look at the data and see what their record is when he doesn't play, it's probably almost 80 or 90 games under 500. Now, obviously, that's not all attributable to Adley Rutschman, but it also obviously has something to do with Adley Rutschman. Now, I'm okay with the deal. You know, he's going to be a free agent. Maybe he's not going to sign here. And, you know, the best ability is availability, and he hasn't been available, right? He hasn't played. So I get that. So I'm not like down on the deal, but I also think it's a lot riskier than we might think. And if he gets healthy and plays, he's going to be doing it forever in Boston, which that ain't going to help us.
Well, I would ask you this, Michael, because I kind of in agreement with you in terms of, on the surface, it's tough losing the offensive production when healthy that Adley gives you as a switch hitting catcher. But I also wonder the impact that it's going to have on the pitching and the rotation. I don't have the splits between, when Adley's behind the plate versus when Basayo is. I know that's not necessarily an exact science when you can compare, team ERA from one catcher to the next. There's a lot of variables there. But I can tell you, for me, and I understand Sam Basayo is so young. He's not had a ton of experience behind the plate. He's going to get better back there for sure. But you wonder, are the Orioles going to be the team that runs him into the ground behind the plate, or is he more long-term of a DH type of guy? Which to me,
he is.
That's
he
how
is.
I view him. I just,
he is.
So, I just,
he is. There's
yeah.
no other way to look at it. Look, Samuel Basayo he's a fantastic baseball player, but he's huge. He's gigantic.
Yeah.
And he's young and gigantic, and he's barely athletic enough to be playing catcher. So, 3-4 years from now, like if they can get 70 to 80 games a year out of Basayo at catcher until Alonso's contract is out, okay.
That's the plan, I think.
Yeah, don't you think so? Because otherwise he's
Yeah.
just going to be a DH in the first.
Basayo long-term is a first baseman DH. I think that's very clear. That's why, Joe Rossano, he has made tons of videos about trading Rutschman, and I thought he was out of his mind. I never thought it was going to happen because my thought process was, obviously they're smart enough to know Basayo isn't the answer at catcher, because that's all you heard was, oh, they have Basayo signed for 8 years. They can get rid of. And I was like, no, Adley Rutschman is a catcher. Sam Basayo is a guy who can supplement him a couple days a week and do a decent job at it.
But wait, everybody, what about Creed Willems?
He's not a catcher either.
Of course he's a catcher. But you know who is a catcher is Ethan Anderson, who's in Double-A and tearing it up. And he was a second or third round draft pick. And he's going to be in Triple-A next year. And he's athletic enough to stay a catcher. So I think they know that.
Well, we had a real luxury in Baltimore having two catchers, Sam Basayo in quotations, as a catcher that could hit. Like, not many teams have that. Like, catchers just don't hit around the league. It's just not. Right. And that's why Adley Rutschman got a package like this that on paper is incredible. Yeah. It's because the guy's a switch hitter who can actually hit the baseball, and he's an adequate catcher. But my point is, I just want to go back to your rant, Michael. Not that I disagreed with it. It was fine. I'm just like, if they were going to trade Adley and if they've had, extension talks with him and it felt like they weren't going to get done, they weren't going to do a better package than this. And I think that's why they traded in division and all that stuff. It's just, obviously, anytime you get prospects, you don't know what's going to happen. But if you're going to trade Adley anyway, this is the kind of package that you want to dream on. And I think that was my overall point, is that.
Yeah, I think it's a fair position. I think that's fair. Right? Like, I don't know, but
they weren't going to get major league talent back for Adley Rutschman, just because the teams that are acquiring Adley Rutschman are teams that are desperate to compete, like the Red Sox.
I think they could have gotten major league talent back, but they couldn't have gotten major league talent back at the positions at which they needed major league talent, right? Like, again, the same thing with Taylor Ward. It's like, well, you can trade Taylor Ward, but you're not going to trade him and get a right-handed hitting outfielder back, right?
That's why I was so disappointed in his trade. Is I agreed with you earlier when you were talking and you had your other two friends ganging up on you, which I didn't like, is Taylor Ward is a right-handed hitter who gets on base. He takes good at bats. I thought a team like the Phillies or the Yankees would really overpay for something like that. And then we ended up with, 3 prospects in parentheses that, don't look like they're going to help us out. Hopefully I'm wrong, but it just doesn't appear that these guys are going to help us out anytime soon.
But the Yankees went out and got like Luis Garcia, right? So
they've been coveting right-handers. I had too much expectations for Taylor Ward, so when that return came back, I was just massively disappointed. And then thankfully the Adley Rutschman deal made up for it a little bit.
Yeah, I was kind of disappointed in the Ward return. But again, as I said, both of these deals say that Michael Elias is not trading to look. He could turn it all around tonight, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
He
just got
could.
breaking news. Looks like Jeff Passan says that Tyler Wells has been
Yeah.
traded to the Rays.
To the Rays, I
Jesus.
see that right now.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Tyler Wells to the
That's
Rays.
what I'm
The
trying to
Rays have
figure out
added
who
a
we
ton.
got.
Wow.
So it's safe to say
that's giving up, right?
Yeah,
like
I
that's
was
just
about to
giving
say
up.
that. It is safe to say that they do not believe in
That's
the 2026
I didn't expect that.
Baltimore Orioles. And Joe Rossano looks way too happy right now, as if he's not even an Orioles fan. I don't know how I feel about that.
That's just giving up. I mean, if you trade Tyler Wells, that's
You're
waving a
muted
white
again,
flag.
Joe.
You're just giving up. Tyler Wells has been fantastic. Tyler Wells still has probably multiple years of team control, and you've traded him. This is just people asked whether they were going to buy or sell, and they have certainly just sold.
Yeah, they'll
These
get
three
Wells for
deals.
next year too, and then I think he's
Yeah.
done.
It's all for next year.
All right, next question. Sloane Johnson, Ocean City, Maryland. We love it. And folks, Sloane Johnson, I want you to check her out on TikTok, and that is around the bases _ And we're just, again, as always, thrilled to have everyone here. Joe Metz, Sloane Johnson, Tyler Wells. Were you a fan in the first place? And do you want to see Trevor Rogers traded before he's a free agent at the end of the season? And lastly, Sloane, I got one more for you. Do we get major league talent for Trevor Rogers, or do we get like a package of like 2-3 off the wall prospects? Sloane Johnson, what say you?
Yeah, Wells. That's what I'm looking for right now. I'm trying to figure out who we got back for him.
Yeah, I don't
That's
see
kind
who
of
we got back.
shocking. I was a fan of Wells. I know he's been kind of rocky, but recently he's been, taking that
He's
place
their best
a
reliever.
little bit.
I mean, it's
He's
not rocky.
definitely,
Him and Cano are their best relievers.
yeah, I like him. I don't really understand that trade. I agree that's definitely giving up at this point. Looking for next year. Yeah, I don't know who they got
It's
back
not
for
yet
him.
been reported, so
But-
it may be, cash and a player to be named later. I'm guessing, but that is
No way,
generally
man.
Yeah,
No
it won't be
way,
that.
Joe. He's having a good
Why?
season, and he's under team
Oh my
control.
goodness! Would you guys knock it off like he's Don freaking Drysdale?
They're not going to get a
he's
franchise
a-
change in peace, but they're going to get more than
No,
cash.
but they're not going to
Crying
get
out loud.
cash. They're not going to
That's
get
crazy.
cash and some guy.
Yeah.
They're going to get a prospect.
I'm confused because he was kind of taking that closer placeholder spot with Helsley being hurt, and I don't know who's going to take that now.
Listen, if we're
I
up
don't
by
trust
2,
Garcia too.
if we're up by 2, we could throw Rico out there. He'll give up
They
one.
don't
Wow.
either, Sloane.
Give up a home run. I don't know.
I expect Rico to get traded too, to be honest. He's a breakout guy at
Yeah,
30,
everybody's
33.
like, I expect Rico to get traded. I expect this guy to get traded. I expect this guy to get traded. They
Everybody's
still
me.
have a season to play.
Well, they don't.
They don't have anybody. They gotta have people to play. For
you
God's
are the
sake.
only one right now that is caring about the season, it seems, because they are getting rid of everybody on the
That's the
Baltimore.
only reason I
Tyler
don't
Wells,
trade Dodgers.
Tyler Wells has been pitching in the major league since 2021, and his ERA is 3.79.
Yeah,
and that's at the highest part of what he's done. And his WHIP is 1.023.
And it's going to be that
He's
for the
a
Rays.
very, very good relief pitcher, to be sure.
Yeah, for the Rays.
And if you trade him for a bag of balls, then I'm going to be super pissed off.
Yeah, they're not going to. I don't think that's the case. But I do think, I know Rico Garcia sent you off the walls.
At the
but
trade deadline.
Who cares? Who cares about Rico Garcia? Did they pick him up off the scrap heap? Why do I care about Rico Garcia? I don't care. But Tyler Wells has pitched well for the Orioles for 5 years. I got a problem with it if you just give him up for a bag
I'll
of
make
balls.
a bet with you, Michael. I bet you, because I know how dumb baseball front offices are, I bet you Rico Garcia nets us a better prospect than Tyler Wells, because he's going to have 5 years of control and Tyler Wells is going to have one more.
Yeah. But you know what? I don't put much stock in what people on these things say, because early this season, Joe Rossano bet me that Grayson Rodriguez was going to pitch 100 innings this year.
Oh, that was a dumb bet, Joe.
When we let him go and got Tyler Ward, and I was like, Joe, that man may never pitch 100 innings cumulatively in the rest of his career.
Yeah, if he has 150 through his career, I'd be pumped for him.
Tyler Ward's gone.
And then he also was like, I can't believe we traded Cade Stroud.
Oh,
wait,
yeah, I couldn't believe they were saying that.
Who did we trade Cade Stroud for? Blaze Alexander. Yeah. But Joe, you were certainly right.
Act like it's Blaze
they
Alexander.
Should not have given up Cade Stroud. No, Cade Stroud has pitched 1 inning in the major leagues this year.
I did. Before my account got banned, I had up videos praising the Blaze Alexander trade. I thought he was a great utility man. Not from Joe. From Joe Mix, not Joe Rossano. Blaze Alexander, you get 5 years of a utility man whose strongest suit was defense. But he's kind of switched that around on us this year and became an offensive threat. But I love
it. It looks like they got Michael Ferret back, so they traded him.
They traded for him. They traded him away.
Back, so he was with them. They traded him to get Shane Dawes. He was part of that deal, so they got him back in this deal with.
He was like the Rays' 5th ranked prospect, so that's not too bad.
Yeah.
I wish we would have got Caden Bodine back.
That would be nice.
Back when we trade him.
So that's pretty good.
Unbelievable. So let me ask you a subject here real quick. Let's get to Targ Skubal to the Dodgers. Okay. I mean, there's a flippant surprise. I mean, I will get back to something, Michael. One of the first shows we did, I had said that's, what the Dodgers do, it's bad for baseball. I mean, I know they got anything wrong. They're within the confines of the rules. But now they got Skubal, for crying out loud. It had to go that. Faulkner, what say you?
I mean, was this like the most unsurprising move of all time? I mean, like, are we surprised that the Dodgers did it? I mean, I wasn't. I mean, they needed a pitcher who knows what Ohtani and his availability as an arm. They're obviously all in. They're all in every year. So this was the most Dodger move ever. I mean, and then you read and hear the return, and a lot of folks are saying that the Tigers could have gotten more, so the Dodgers didn't even really have to give up as much as they probably could have or should have. I'm just glad he's not in the American League. Now, we can debate whether this is good for baseball. Is this really going to cause a lockout next year? And depending on what you hear and read, maybe it does. But I wasn't surprised that they did it. I mean, not many teams would have had the guts to do it, but they're one that obviously had.
Matt, the thing I would say about that is, do I think it's bad for baseball? I don't, because I think it's going to force a lockout, and I think it's going to force the notion of a cap. So in that sense, I don't think it's bad for baseball. But, the funny thing about it is they did it only because they could. They don't need him. They were the prohibitive favorite to win the World Series anyway. They don't need him. The only reason they did it was to keep him from going to somebody else that they'd have to play. That's it. They're like, oh, we don't want the Brewers to get him because then we'd have to face Mizorowski and, Mizorowski and Skubal in back-to-back games. So, I mean, they just did it because they don't want to face him. And that's crazy that they can just go trade for somebody just because we're like, I don't know. I don't really want to face him.
They acquired Chris Bubik today too, so they added another starting pitcher. So
Yeah.
the
Are you
rich
kidding?
get
Oh, yeah,
richer,
that's right. They
baby.
did. My goodness graciousness.
And the thing is,
So
not only did they
let's
trade Wells, they traded him to Tampa. I mean, like, what are we doing?
The season's over, baby. 2027, here we come.
season's over. That's why season's flipping over. I will tell you one thing about the Tampa Bay. It's a lot better. I mean, right now I'm going to grade them, even though the Dodgers got Scooble and Bubik, as you say. I got to tell you, the Tampa Bay Rays really got better. With my man Freddie Peralta, I really, really wanted him to be an Oriole in the offseason. They got Tyler Wells now. All right. And I got to tell you, I just really do think that the Rays, I was very surprised because the Rays are not a team that is very active during the trade deadlines in most cases. But again, at the end of the day, I say they got Liam Hicks.
Yeah,
All
they got
right.
Liam Hicks too.
Now, Liam Hicks is a monster left-handed bat and a catcher. Now, he's a first baseman and a catcher, but a catcher nonetheless. And he is probably, I think, in the top 5 or 6 in the National League in RBI. So that's something that's not a household name, but he is pretty darn good. And
Who are you
again,
saying are you saying the Orioles got
yeah,
him?
No, the Rays.
No.
Yeah,
yeah.
not the Orioles, right? The Rays.
No. The Orioles are
So
selling.
Sloane Johnson, did they get better?
The Rays?
Did the Rays get better? Yes.
Yes. They definitely did.
With Freddie Peralta, Liam Hicks. I mean,
We're talking about the Dodgers rotation, which is obviously going to be a lot better with Scooble, but the Rays already have a very good rotation, and then adding Peralta on is going to make them even better. So yeah, they got better.
So wait, we got Michael Ferre.
something
That's
else
who we
interesting. Go
got.
ahead.
Yeah, he's one of the guys we traded away for Shane Baz.
Yeah, it's not back for Wells.
Which I think is a fine trade. I don't think there's nothing wrong with it.
Well,
I'm not sure there's anything wrong with it, right? I don't know.
It's
But
just interesting to me that
I think he was like their 5th ranked prospect. I know that's going to send Michael up a wall. He hates the word prospect, but he was their 5th ranked prospect.
I certainly don't. I mean, but
And he's a starting pitcher, so you would imagine you would get more value out of a starting pitcher than Tyler Wells, who was kind of a failed starting pitcher, but found his groove in the bullpen.
yeah.
So it's not bad. And you get a lot younger with it, which is obviously what the Orioles are trying to do, it looks like.
I don't know if you get much younger with it because Wells is not particularly old.
Well, he's
And
like
Mike,
31.
well,
I think.
you're right. No, you're right. Ferre is 22.
Yeah, and Wells
So
is 10 years older than that.
well, he's not. I don't think Wells is 30, but
Yeah, he is. I'm looking at it right now. He's 31.
okay, all right. So a lot younger. And Ferre, look, I'm just looking at his minor league stats. Well, it says he's only been he's only 22, so his minor league stats are only 3 years.
Yeah.
I think it's funny that they traded him and they got him back. Yeah, I mean, no, he looks like that could be a good return.
Yeah, it looks
And
like it. Again, we'll have to see.
And he's a left-hander, so yeah, his career minor league ERA is 3.
There you go.
which that's pretty impressive. And his WHIP is 1.1 in the minor leagues. So yeah, I mean, he looks like a very promising guy. And I think he's in AAA. So it looks like a guy who could conceivably compete for a starting spot next year. Yeah,
there's going to be there's going to be a couple spots open. So
looks like it.
You got to imagine Trevor Rogers is next.
Well, look, to the comment that just came up, the most dependable bullpen arm, and we dumped him. There's no other way to look at this except to say that Mike Elias has punted on the rest of this season. Unless he does something crazy and packages a bunch of guys to get major league guys who will help us the rest of this year, it is clear that he has just punted.
Yeah, I think it's a good old fashioned punt. I think that's declared. There is no more buying and selling for the 2026 season. He is selling.
It's just been selling.
Yeah, he's preparing for, as like my whole life, he is preparing for next year. We're getting ready for next year. We're going to be the big winners next year.
Yeah.
Because it ain't going to be this year.
All right, Joe, I got to go. We'll see what happens in the next hour, I suppose.
All right. Hey, Michael, thank you so much for joining us. The brilliant Michael Sullivan. Appreciate it, Michael, and we'll see you next time, sir.
Good to spend time with all of you. I hope to see you again.
Hey, nice to meet you, Michael.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah. And I'll talk to you. I'll talk to you again soon. And you too, Joe.
You too.
You too. Thank you. All right. Got quiet in here.
That Michael, he's something else, huh? I see why you have him on all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. I love him. He's, again,
he's a firecracker.
People have such an opinion of him. They really like me.
Yeah.
And that doesn't happen very often.
Yeah, I was agreeing with him for the first half an hour.
From the audience here, yeah, right. No, I'm going to do some questions here okay. And then you tell me what y'all think. All right. So here we go. We have Narniac 69. Carlos Navarez literally put up better numbers than Adley last season. LOL. We'll start with you, Joe Metz. Carlos Navarez. I don't hate it. I don't hate it at all.
I don't hate it, but last year was last year, and Adley's been way better this year. But I am glad that we got a catcher that can supplement Sam Basayo. I don't know if you were in here when we were talking about that, but Sam Basayo is not a guy who can catch over 100 games a year, so you really need a guy. And when I found out they sent Jake Rogers back, I was very happy that Narvaez was included. He has a lot of potential to be good. He catches a pretty good game. He's not a defensive wizard or anything, but you need a catcher. You need someone to catch the baseballs that the pitchers are throwing, whoever that may be going forward. So I wasn't mad that they included him. I'm glad he wasn't the main part of the trade, and he was just pretty much at it, because the Orioles are losing Adley and Rogers there. So, yeah, I was happy with it.
Well, any thoughts on Navarez? I mean, you can care less one way or the other, or did we get a pretty good backup catcher going forward?
No, I agree. I think that it's good that we got him, especially now with Basayo being on the IL, and now that we got Roger, it's going to be Trump and I don't know, Huff again, but obviously Narvaez now.
Huff just cleared waivers, so he's back in the O system, so we have him to lean back on.
So excited about that.
Who, Trump?
No, but it's a right-handed power hitter. It's good to have a better catcher, obviously, than either Huff or Trump. So I'm glad that he was on, not as part of the main deal, but kind of like a little add-on.
Yeah, I thought it was good.
every once in a while we get a conspiracy, and this may be one. I want your opinions of this. This from Mike T6119. They knew they were shot. It was a sham. Probably no rehab starts in Boston. I'd be very surprised if anybody is going to risk their career faking an injury or telling the guy to fake an injury like they're politicians. But we'll start with you, Sloane. Do you think he really hurt, or do you think they there was a second gunman on the city?
No, I definitely think he's really hurt, and I think that's why it took so long to go through with the trade, because I mean, I don't know if you guys saw the rumors this morning, all the like kind of secondhand reports that were saying it, and they were just waiting for the medical to be cleared. So obviously he's definitely hurt. I don't think they would pretend that he was hurt. I think if we were in a better position right now, which we're not in an extremely bad one, which is, I'm still kind of, shocked that Elias is selling this much. But if we were in a better position, I don't think Adley would be gone, whether he was injured or not.
Yeah, I'm the biggest conspiracy theorist on planet Earth. You guys don't know that about me, but in this case, I am not a conspiracy theorist. The man was hurt, and he probably will be back pretty soon. But how long has he been out already for the Orioles? I mean, it was like a wrist injury.
That's things like that.
So I think, yeah, I'm sure that Adley Rutschman was hurt.
Yeah, I am too. But we get these all the time. Let's see here. Good news, folks. Are you ready? People of Earth, you know him, the great Sean Ferguson has joined us from Orioles Today. Sean Ferguson, bravo, bravo, sir. I'll bet you. Hey, Sean, just in case you didn't know, we traded Adley. All right, I figured I'd let you know. Wakes here and ask
Man,
Sean Ferguson his opinion on this Adley Rutschman deal. I am dying to hear this, Sean Ferguson. Thank you. Thanks for joining.
yeah, wow. I saw it. I know we've been talking about this. You and I talked about this a few weeks ago, and we kept talking, is it going to happen? Is it going to happen? And I just really thought that they weren't going to go through with it. I thought they were going to stick around. And I know you got to take everything that Mike Elias says with a pinch of salt. As he said, I think back in June, he's a cornerstone. They need to invest in him and all that. And then now he's traded today. I love the return that the Orioles got. This is way more than I thought that Mike Elias will be able to get for him. I hate that he's going to Boston. Why? I mean, trading in division, that just rips your heart out. When I saw the rumors this morning that, hey, apparently Boston's right there. I'm like, why? Why are you setting this up with an in-division rival in Boston? And when the return came back, I said, wow, that was actually way more than I thought. You got 3 top 5 prospects, another one in number 17 overall, catcher who's big league ready. Very surprised at how good that return was. But again, so mad that he had to make that deal with a team in the division. So happy with the return. I hate that it was to Boston.
I could actually care less. I just kind of wanted this thing
Joe
over
Rossano's
with.
dream was to trade Adley Rutschman. Man, he's the happiest man
I-
on planet Earth right now.
Sean Ferguson, let me say this, sir. Trading him in the offseason, all right, or trading him now doesn't make much of a difference from the Orioles. They're going to get this team one more game closer to the postseason, okay? It's not like he was Mike Trout from 2013 who can carry a team. That's just not him. And this was, you see, now I'm not a big minor league guy, I admit it. So, but, as Joe Metz pointed out, the Orioles got a massive haul for Adley Rutschman. See, I wouldn't have known one way or the other. So I think my point all along to all is I wanted to get the maximum for him because I knew he wasn't coming back. I wanted the TV, I wanted the cat because I knew my girl was leaving and wasn't coming back. All right. So
Bars.
with that being said, yeah, I mean, right. I mean, I get what you can get because he's gone. And I didn't want to see the Orioles do or get Joe Rossano for Adley Rutschman and a player to be named later. What say you, Sean Ferguson?
No, and I get it. And again, when you and I talked about it a few weeks ago, I understood where you were coming from, because next year could be a lockout. Who says how much we would have gotten of Adley? And then a lot of talks are coming out that he didn't want to sign a long-term deal with the Orioles, which I get, and I get where you're coming from because it's better now. Okay, you don't know what's going to happen next season with the season at all. So it makes a lot of sense to cut your losses now and get as much in return as you can get for him. And Ianson, who we got, he immediately becomes our best pitching prospect. So I know you don't know. I know you said a lot about when it comes to the minor leaguers, but we got a fantastic call in the minor leaguers. Ianson, he shoots right to the top of our pitching prospects and someone probably could see next year. The others are a couple, maybe 2 years away. So great haul for what we got now. Probably next year, if you were trying to make a deal for him, who knows if you might have gotten as much just because that was an expiring deal for the most part. This year, at least he has one more year left of team control, so you get more in that return. So, yeah, it makes sense. It still hurts because I love Adley. I love when we got him back in 2019. I thought he was going to be here forever, a lifer, but it's not the case anymore. So yeah, sad to see him go. Love what we got in return. And I know you don't care, but I hate that he went to Boston. I'll say that over and over, man. Them, the Yankees, whoever. I hate that he went in division.
Let me tell you what I do care about, folks, is that let's make a few people famous here. Not that she needs it. Sloane Johnson, TikTok, around the bases _ phenomenal analysis. I watch her all the time. I click the like button, the whole 9 yards. Once again, very charismatic Sloane Johnson. Check her out on TikTok, and that is around the bases _ Mr. Joe Metz, and that is 2 T's. We got Joe Metz. Joe owes him. You can also catch him on TikTok. Another excellent analysis program to check out, everyone. I certainly do. And who on the planet Earth doesn't watch the wise Sean Ferguson Orioles Today? That is youtube.com at Orioles Today. I believe you could check him out every day around 10, 11 a.m. ish, and he will give you up to the minute updates on all things Baltimore Orioles. We are just absolutely thrilled to have you folks, by the way. So Joe Metz, between now and September and October, did the Orioles, did they completely crumble? Or they 14 under, that type of thing? And I'd like to do a round robin there. We'll start with you, Joe.
Who knows? With the
Basically,
way
now what?
With the way the AL is, we're only 2.5 back. You have to assume getting rid of your closer, essentially. You're getting rid of your starting catcher. You have to assume it would crumble, but this is the game of baseball. I don't know how long you guys have been watching. Anything can happen in the game of baseball. Maybe we get sparked, maybe something happens and the Orioles somehow stay in this thing. But I would imagine that this takes the Orioles out of the wild card race. That's just me being logical about the whole thing. But I am a stupid baseball fan, so I'm going to still have hope, and I'm still going to break down the baseball games, and hopefully I'm breaking down some W's because that is way funner than talking about the losses, where every single comment is just telling me how bad we suck. I do not enjoy that. So,
Amen to that. Sloane Johnson, you're next. Where do we go from here? What happens on October 1st?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of why I'm a little bit shocked that Elias is selling like this, because we're still very much in it. And I think Adley is a big part of that. He, like, the team morale, the lineup's just better with him in it. And like Joe said, our closer essentially right now is Tyler Wells. We already had our main closer on the IL. Wells was the placeholder. So now I don't know who's going to take that spot. Maybe Cano. I don't know. But yeah, I don't see how they're supposed to be going up from here this year without those players.
And the very wise Sean Ferguson, Orioles Today. At Orioles Today. What say you, Sean Ferguson?
It just feels at this point that they really just punted on this season. Like you said, like Joe said, we're only 2.5 out of a wild card race right now, and it doesn't feel like it at all. And I expected this to be a little bit more of buy and sell situation, not just a completely sell. But you get rid of Adley, who's the glue guy, and it feels like we're back in the same boat of rebuilding. And it's hard not to look at it that way when all you got for, I say all, but mainly what you got for Adley was prospects. You traded Ward, which that trade, we could talk about that later. That was abysmal, but that was prospects. You trade Tyler Wells for another prospect. So that's pretty much where you're at. It just feels like you're rebuilding again, even though you have a lot of veteran talent that you're paying a lot of money to, and you're 2.5 out of a wild card race. So at this point, yeah, it's tough. You lose your glue guy in Adley, like Sloane said. You lose you're pretty much your closer. Who are you going to put there now? Like Cano's your setup
Yeah.
guy. Why move him to closing when you could? You're going to put Kittredge there now. It's like you're kind of forced to put Cano there in a sense. So they put themselves in a really tough situation. It's kind of rebuild once again. It's a state of what the Orioles have lived in. Like Orioles fans know for like it feels like every year is a rebuild year. So unfortunately, that's kind of where we're at. That feels like this season is, even though we're still right there, it's going to slip away fast because we just don't have the talent anymore.
Yes. I think I think they should just go full, since they talked earlier about Elias lying to us. I don't know if that's 100% the case, but I do wish he would have been more honest with us. And now I think they should just do full sell, just so we don't even have any hope. I would feel much more comfortable not having hope. Like if Andrew Kittredge is a free agent at the end of the season, find out who can take him. Rico Garcia is a breakout guy at 30 plus years old that we grabbed off waivers. See if anybody finds value in him and just blow it up with the pieces you can blow it up with. I don't think they should trade Gunner yet or anything like that, but just these pieces that other teams could use down the stretch. I could see Andrew Kittredge on the mound in the playoffs for a team and coming through for them just like he did for the Cubs last year. Just get rid of him. It's like, why even give us the hope? Trevor Rogers, why even keep Trevor Rogers? You go out and get things for him. Go get things for Trevor Rogers. Blow this thing up because that's what you've done anyway. So why are you holding on to these people? If Trevor Rogers isn't in another uniform by the end of this trade deadline, I don't even understand what they were doing this entire day. Like he has 2 months left as a Baltimore Oriole, and we are going nowhere fast. Get what you can for Trevor Rogers. Get what you can for Kittredge. If Ryan Helsley was healthy, get what you can for him. Unfortunately, we're stuck with that contract. And yeah, I don't want any hope left because I don't feel like we're going anywhere anyway. And if they keep Trevor Rogers, you kind of still have hope because you have Boz, Bradish, and Rogers, and that can get you a lot of wins if your lineup's hitting the baseball, which they haven't been recently, at least for the last 15 innings. So I just want them to blow it up at this point. That's it. Just keep going this route.
John Ferguson.
Yeah, I'm kind of under the same thing with you, Joe. It's why not blow it up at this point? Is you already got rid of Adley. You know, he was such a fan favorite of the team, and he's gone now. And then you start looking when it comes to other players. Like you just said, I'm at a point of if they are on a deal that is expiring, why not see what you can do? You know, you already got rid of, again, Adley. You got rid of Taylor, who was one of the most productive on base guys this season for you. He's gone. And why not Kittredge? Why not Rogers? And I know what you're saying too about Gunnar, but at the same time, it's like at this point, it's had a rough season last year, a rough season this year, and he's kind of in the same boat of Adley, and you're going to be in a situation where you're kind of forced of, are you willing to pay him that much when you're obviously once again kind of getting back into the rebuilding boat? Are you willing to pay him that much money when he hasn't been there the last 2 years?
They're not paying Gunnar.
Wise. No, and that's kind of where I'm at now. Is like you're already just, I mean, you're selling everything at this point. Like I say everything, but like the guys that matter the most to you right now, your best hitter, you're one of your best hitters too, and Adley, and you're the guy who's kind of, he was the face of the rebuild when he was brought up, and then you lose your closer and Tyler Wells. Who else is going to go? We still have a little time. I'm sure there's deals still to be made. So why not? While it's hot, just keep it going, man. Just no hope left. We're 2 out of a wild card race, but it doesn't feel like that anymore. And most of the people that can help you produce there are slowly but surely going. There's no way at this point. The Rays and the Yankees ran away with the AL East. We didn't have high hopes for that anyway. But when it comes to the wild card, you already helped the Mariners out, and the other teams in front of us are only getting stronger too. So whatever you can get for anyone who's on an expiring deal, even if it's the young talent who have a year left of arbitration, I'm at that point, like, why not?
Yeah, I agree 100%. My thing with Gunnar is I just don't. It would be a really hard pill to swallow to sell this low on Gunnar Henderson, because you watch him, and although he's not performing, you still see so many good qualities in him. You see with your eyes a good baseball player that is just not performing well, and it would just be a shame to get rid of him right now. I think Adley's injuries kind of helped his value, because I still can't believe the haul we got for him. Because every time he's been on the roster and been in games, he has performed. And I couldn't imagine if he would have, had a bad, let's say he was in the lineup for the last 3 weeks and he wasn't performing well, would teams be thinking about what he did last year and who is the real Adley Rutschman? And that's my fear with trading Gunnar, is like, man, if we just give him a half a season next year, if there even is a half a season next year, and he performs, then imagine the haul you can get for a Gunnar Henderson. So I think that's the reason why I'm saying, no, don't give up on Gunnar right now, just because it's been the worst case scenario season for Gunnar Henderson. It's been abysmal, and I just don't want to sell at that point.
Yeah, it makes sense. Like, again, I get what you're saying with that, because you sell now, who knows what the return is going to be. I think for Adley, when it came to why we got so much, is you hit it right on the head of, he had one of his best seasons. He was in the middle of one of his best seasons when he was healthy, and again, 3 cents on the IL kind of, I think that helped, because you're also getting that productivity that he's had this year, and you're also getting, he's 3-time All-Star in the last 4 years. I think that played into it as well. It's like, okay, well, the guy is consistent, and that's lacking across the league. You don't have a lot of consistent catchers that are doing it at his rate. So injuries, I agree with you. I think they really helped us get that on. Again, I'm still surprised about how much they were able to get from him, just because of, and I said this to Joe, I was so fearful of moving him, because I just felt like the return was going to be just awful for him, because I just didn't trust Elias. And so when I saw that haul, I said, okay, it really stinks that they traded him away, but that was great. But with Gunnar, I mean, I feel like I just feel like he's never going to meet our expectations of what he could be. He had that one really good season. I know injuries played a part of it last year, and this year has just not been great. It's been boomer bust for him. It stinks, man. And defensively too, I'm like, he's taking a massive step back. So yes, you could give him away this year, but it won't be the same if he had at least a half a good season. But at this point, I'm like, you don't even know what you're going to get next year, and then you just risk the chance of losing him and getting nothing in return.
Yeah, I think even the off season would be better to trade Gunnar, because at least then there aren't numbers staring you in the face, and teams can still dream about who Gunnar Henderson is at that point. Like, we get a fresh start from Gunnar Henderson in the middle of our lineup, play him at shortstop or third base, whatever they want to do. I just think with the way he's playing, there's no way he can be this bad for the rest of his career. I just think it would be a terrible time to sell that guy. I just don't think it would work out well for us. And your point about the return on Adley, when I saw the return we got for Taylor Ward, and then I saw that the Boston Red Sox were working to acquire Adley Rutschman, I was scared to death because that Taylor Ward return was abysmal. And then when I saw the package we got, I was like, how in the world did Mike Elias go from working out that trade for Taylor Ward to working out this trade with the Red Sox? Like, how can he have, it's like he has two personalities, and one of them is trying to help the Orioles and one of them is trying to destroy the Orioles. And thankfully with the Adley trade, we got the one that's trying to help the Baltimore Orioles. So yeah, it's been such a weird trade deadline. The Orioles are going to acquire Christian Franklin from the Nationals. So I don't know much about Christian Franklin, but it's an article.
Yeah, I was just looking at that myself. He it looks like it's a minor leaguer for minor leaguer trade. But he's a guy. It's funny though, reading it, it was the O's do have to add him to the 40-man, and there is that wouldn't be a problem because they have a lot of openings. That's right, they sure do.
Yeah, that's not going to be an issue right now.
But you made a good
Sloane,
point because
would you trade Gunnar, Sloane?
No, I would not trade Gunnar right now. I think if they even thought about trading Gunnar, that would just be complete restart, rebuild mode all over again. I mean, you can't get rid of Adley and Gunnar in the same trade deadline. That would just be crazy.
Talk about a reset.
That would just be insane.
Our last hopes, both gone in the same trade deadline. That would be insane.
I think Gunnar definitely has the potential to be back to where he was in his prime, 2024. But I think he's just so in his head, and that's really his main issue. He's so hard on himself. And I do think some of his errors come from him having such a wide range at short. He covers a lot of ground. He has a lot of opportunities to make plays. And I think that's where some of his errors come from. But I think he's just so in his head. And I think he can get back to where he was then. But like Sean, you said, I think everyone just has such high expectations for him now. And he's never going to meet those.
I'd be happy if he was just
No,
a
do you guys
productive.
think
I'd be
that
happy if he was a 4-WAR guy, to be honest. Just
Yeah.
be a 4-WAR guy. Just be a guy who gets base hits. You have a 345 on base percentage. You bat 280. You play decent defense. Like I don't need Gunnar to hit 40 home runs or whatever. I just need him to be a positive player. He doesn't have to be that 8-WAR guy or whatever he had that one season. Just be a positive member of the team. Just be a guy who helps us win baseball games. And that's my same thing with Jackson Holiday, who has kind of been taking that route recently where he's hitting the ball up the middle to left field and he's taking walks. It's like, you guys clearly aren't the players that you think you are. You're not 35 to 40 home run guys consistently. So just listen, 40 home run guys get paid a lot of money. You know who else gets paid a lot of money? Really good fucking baseball players. So just be a really good baseball player. And yeah, I think the expectations for Gunnar are high, but they really don't have to be. They should just be a good baseball player. Just be a guy who gets on base.
From himself, those expectations.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying is he doesn't need to have those expectations. He just needs to go out there and play ball.
Right.
That's it. Like, I think he came into the season wanting to be a 40 home run guy. And what did he have? He had like 9 after the first month of the season. He's on pace for like 46 home runs or something. And then he only has 9 since then. So obviously that strategy just hasn't worked out. So take the ball up the middle, go gap to gap, go to opposite field when they give it to you. Lay down a bunt if they're playing you deep. It's like, just do anything you can to be a good, hard-nosed baseball player, and you will help the Baltimore Orioles win baseball games. You're not helping them win baseball games by hitting 355-foot outs. You know, you're hitting the ball 110 miles an hour, but it's right to a perfectly placed second baseman every single time. That's not helping the Baltimore Orioles win baseball games. So I do think it's a lot of pressure on him, but I wish he would get out of his own head and just be a good baseball player.
Yeah.
You know, folks, the guys that we traded, Adley Rutschman, okay, as I said, he's not going to get us one more game closer to the postseason. Tyler Wells, I mean, all right, I suppose. And Taylor Ward, mismanaged, in my opinion. You see, it is a mindset. It's just like having a job and, you know, you're either in the accounting department or you're in the engineering department. It's two different jobs. So when he was getting the leadoff spot, I think his mindset was take pitches and get on base. The Gary Sheffields, these are just the interviews I've seen, and Ken Griffey Jr.'s, etc., swung, and their own words, Barry Bonds too, they swung outside the strike zone to drive in runs. And Taylor Ward didn't do that here because I let me say this. Michael Sullivan would say, hey, look, Joe, if you bat him fifth, is he going to hit more home runs? I mean, is he going to get power all of a sudden? I think his mindset changed to drive in runs and rather than get on base. I am very curious to see what part of the lineup he hits in and what kind of productivity he brings to his new team. If he's not, I can't imagine going to be in the leadoff spot. I'll ask you, Sean Ferguson. I mean, do you think he was mismanaged? Should he have been a leadoff hitter in the first place, Taylor Ward?
I mean, I was surprised when I saw him there. I thought that would be Gunnar this year. I didn't think Taylor was going to be the number one guy. And it is surprising. It was surprising because you bring in a guy who's coming off, I think he had 36 home runs last year. So you take that and put that in the leadoff spot. It's not something that you normally see. And if you want to go the mismanaged route, you absolutely can, because the Orioles have done plenty of that. When you look at just some of the lineups you've seen, just a lot of how a lot of this young talent's been mismanaged. Like I've talked a ton about Colton Cowser and Kobe Mayo, what they could have been / to what they are now, just because of how they were kind of brought up and managed here at this level. So yes, I wouldn't probably put Taylor Ward in that leadoff spot, but I think he adapted well to it. I mean, he was one of the best of getting on base any means necessary, and I kind of felt like he was one of the few Orioles when, hey, that home run ball thing ain't working out. Hey, I can do other things. I can hit the ball up the gap. I can get doubles. I can get on base with walks. And a lot of the other guys like Gunnar, he's unable to do that. So the power-wise, yeah, I probably wouldn't put him in the leadoff spot, but I still think he was able to adapt well to it.
Sloane Johnson, tell me.
Yeah, I agree. I didn't, see him hitting in the leadoff spot at the start of the season. I saw him more as a 3 or 4 hole guy. But I agree. I think he adapted to it well. I mean, we saw the doubles he hit in the beginning of the season, obviously his walks, and, just having one of the highest OPSs on the team. I think that he was fine there. But in terms of now and how he has been recently, I think dropping him down was the right move. I don't know. I would like to see Holiday up there a little bit more. I think they could test that out a little bit.
I said that at the beginning of the season. How do you lead off, crying out loud? Now, I assume, let me guess, Joe Metz, Sean Ferguson, you are sold on Beavers as the everyday going forward. That's just a guess. Am I right?
I'm not mad at that. Yeah. You guys didn't enjoy Kobe Mayo, leadoff hitter Kobe Mayo, or what? Nobody
That
was
was
feeling
crazy. I was like,
Craig freaking Albernaz.
How
man.
we weren't
Jesus.
liking that. That's
I do also I'm also okay with Beavers hitting leadoff. I think he's done well there.
Beavers last year, I thought coming into this year would have been the best option. He took such good at bats last year, and then now that when he came off the injured list, he started doing that again. But the beginning of the season, he was kind of swing happy. But yeah, I'm not mad at Beavers. I like Holiday as the leadoff man. Yeah, coming into the season, I was a lot like Sloane. I didn't understand Taylor Ward being the leadoff hitter, and I don't know if that's why he changed his entire approach. Because man, did he really try to adapt to being a leadoff hitter? He took that to the absolute extreme. But maybe he just knew that he wasn't the power hitter he was in the past. I guess that 25 home run guy that he was consistently there for a couple of years. But yeah, I don't know who replaces it. I don't really think our lineup matters that much going forward. I hate to be, so much as the guy who's typically the most optimistic Orioles fan on planet Earth. I just don't think the lineup is going to matter very much going forward. I think they can try whatever they want. If they think Beavers is the guy, throw him out there every day. If they want to get Holiday as many at bats as he can get the rest of the season, throw him in the leadoff spot every day. Just for the love of God, not Kobe Mayo. That's all I ask for. Just no. I don't care if the worst lefty in the league is on the mound. You do not lead off a man like Kobe Mayo. So that's my thoughts on that. I came in mid combo. That's
I
what
want to
I'm assuming you
share
guys were talking about.
with you folks. No, that's okay. I will say this, folks, and I want an opinion again from each of you. It's another one of those round robins. My most disappointing Orioles situation, the most, number one, you had Gunner, Adley, Towser, Westberg, Holiday, Baradash, you name it. And these guys, I'm going to use this term, these guys were cheap. These guys were under control and cheap. And Grayson Rodriguez can go into that bucket as well. Kyle Stowers into that bucket as well. And instead of spending 200 million on a starting pitcher or 350 million on, we got people like Flaherty, Tommy Sagano, Charlie Morton, and this year, that is the most disappointing thing for me as an Orioles fan is where were the one or two front of the rotation 7-year $210 million Bulldogs when you got these young studs that are practically free. I will start with you, Joe Metz.
I would like to know when those guys
We
were even
agree. I mean,
available, though. Like, which guys do you think that we should have gone out and paid all that money to? I don't really remember outside of Dylan Cease, who everybody kind of laughed at the Blue Jays for making that contract. That's like
Max
the only one of
Fried.
those. Yeah, you could get Max Fried, but are you going to outbid the Yankees? Did he want to go to the Yankees? That's the thing is we don't even know who the Orioles were involved in these talks and if these guys even want it to come to the Baltimore Orioles. I just think we may be a team that isn't that sexy that guys don't want to come to. And I think they're trying their best. I really
I've
do. I
heard
don't
that.
fault the front office for that, to be honest. I think they even this offseason, I think they went out there and really tried to improve this team. They got Pete Alonso to bite. They put their chips in for Shane Baz, even though his record doesn't look very good because the Orioles don't score runs for him. I think that has been a really good trade for the Orioles. I think especially with pitching, they just had to be really, really creative. Thank goodness we didn't do that Framber Valdez deal. So I think they dodged a lot more bullets than, than the number of available Bulldogs, as you would put it, were like out there. I just don't know who those guys were. So you have Max Fried and Dylan Cease, I guess, in the last couple of years were like their only two real options.
Yeah, I mean, Sean Ferguson, please tell me. I mean, you see what I'm saying. I mean, these guys were all under control 3, 4, 5 years. $3, $4 million each, and that's giving some of them the benefit of the doubt. I mean, why didn't you get a veteran pitching staff to back these young guys up? I mean, Charlie freaking Morton, I get what you're saying, Joe Metz, but again, Morton, Bassett, I mean, Sean Ferguson, throw me a line here, real honestly losing my mind.
I mean, the thing I would say about going into kind of what you're saying about last year with Morton and with Gibson is, yeah, though when you look at those two players, just Morton and Gibson alone, yes, I think there could have been better options than those two guys. I would never have tried on Morton. I think he was just too far gone. Gibson is like didn't have high hopes coming in, so I'm not also saying you need to go out and spend the $200 million on a single guy, but I think there were better veteran options out there, at least one or two that you could have done besides those guys who I just didn't see panning out. And when it comes to this year, this offseason disappointed me. And you made a good point, Joe, about the Framber Valdez deal, but there were still a few other guys that I was hoping the Orioles would either sign or trade that were on the radar, but weren't as high profile, like Bubic, who just got moved this afternoon too. He was a guy that I kind of kept an eye on. And even Zach Gallen, I was like, he's not going to cost you a ton of money down the road. He's still a good veteran, and he's not going to break the bank like Ranger or Framber would. So I think it's frustrating, like for me, because yes, there's some big names out there, and it's appealing to go get those, but there's other options that the Orioles had that they could have made, in my opinion, like the guys I just mentioned, like a Bubic or a Gallen, that I think they would have fit in nicely, and they would have been a nice under the radar signing or a trade. And even a Mackenzie Gore, I know at that point the Orioles and Nats never made with each other, but that was another guy. I was like, he was just oozing with potential, and I thought that would be a good fit for the Orioles. So it's frustrating in that sense because I believe there were other options out there for the Orioles, and I think they paid more attention kind of to the bats this year, which have not panned out at all with Ward trade and with the Pete Alonso signing and just everyone else that you kind of have high expectations for, like a Gunnar, really hasn't panned out. So yes, you could point at the pitching at least for a couple years ago. Yeah, Pete's panned out, but around him, I guess what I'm saying is everything else hasn't. You get Pete because you thought this lineup was going to be built to be, especially with
the
this
lineup's
young
been
competing,
massively disappointing.
and then big time. You had a little sliver of hope for Tyler O'Neill, and his defense has been good, but his offense hasn't. Like we already talked about Gunnar, he's just been kind of all over the place as well. And Kobe Mayo's he's hit home runs, but that's he's coming on a little bit better as of late. But for the most part, the season's been bad. So yes, you can look at the pitching from a couple years ago, and they could have done a little bit more. Same thing for this year, but I honestly think it wouldn't have made that much of a difference because you also have to look at, do these guys even want to come to Baltimore at this point? Like there's some guys they don't want to play here. They'll turn down deals to go elsewhere. So it's hard to say, but like for me, yes, there were better options, but I doubt any of those big time front end guys would have landed here.
I agree with that.
Sloane Johnson. Again, that's my biggest disappointment. I mean, I'm not trying to put you on the spot. Didn't mean to put you guys on the spot, but is there anything that, hey, you know what, God, that this really got on my nerves? I really wish they would have done blank.
I mean, yeah, I've been frustrated with their lack of getting like top of the line starting pitcher, but they've never really done that. And I think a lot of people had more hope in them doing that because of Corbin Burns. But the thing with that was we were never going to sign him for more than that year. And obviously people saw what this team could be like with a top of the line starter. And I agree. Like, I just don't think the Orioles are ever going to beat out teams like the Red Sox, the Yankees, Dodgers, like teams like those. Like, people don't want to come to Baltimore. And I think we could have gone a little more in on like Gallen or people like that. And I'm happy that we didn't get Valdez. I've said that before. But yeah, I think a lot of that hope comes from Burns.
Yeah, Burns is a great example of what I was saying, because I'm pretty sure, unless you guys can prove me wrong, maybe my memory's bad, but I think we offered him more money than Arizona, and he said
he wanted to go to Arizona.
I'm going to go to Arizona instead. So yeah, I do think they have tried in the past to go out and get these frontline starters. I just don't think it's worked out for them very well. And, it took a year and a half for the Trevor Rogers trade to work out. So, yeah,
I think people, once they're here, say they like Baltimore because of the fan base, whatever. But I mean, the only one who's been like super outspoken about that is Alonso, and that's obviously due to the Mets and their lack of offering him anything. But other than that, like Burns was like, I want to go to Arizona.
Even a guy like Adley, who we just traded, we're not privy to this, but you have to believe that the Orioles front office went to Adley and they said, are you interested in staying here long term? If not, we got to make a move. And Adley Rutschman, as nice of a guy as he is, who says all the right things to the media, I bet you he looked them in the face and said, I am not interested in re-signing here. And that's why he's out the door. I think if Adley wanted to be here long term, I think the Orioles would have worked out an extension for Adley Rutschman. I really do. So sometimes you're just not privy to this information. And yeah, I just don't think, just like Corbin Burns turned us down, I think Adley probably said, I don't want to be in Baltimore long term. So ship me elsewhere and then I'll figure it out in free agency when the time comes. I just don't know if this is
He
the
lost
sexiest
that
place.
loving feeling, huh?
Yeah, we're fans of the
Let
team,
me
so
ask
it's
you
sexy
this.
to us, but maybe it's not to these
Yeah,
players.
but you know, and Sloane Johnson, Joe Metz, this whole people don't want to play in Baltimore, right? I've heard that enough now that there has got to be some validity to it. I mean, because again, I've heard this several times, guys, and ma'am, I've heard this several times. So is it? We're going to talk business here. Is it the city? I mean, perhaps some, and that's some, consider, it's not in the safest place of Ez Ravine or something like that. I mean, because that could be said about a lot of places. I mean, what is it about coming to the Orioles when they went to the postseason? They paid to get Alonso, etc. What's What's the problem? Does somebody
Yeah, I don't know if it's so much the city. Maybe it's the fact that there's not a rich history of winning in Baltimore anymore. Maybe it's the fact that they have tons of other options. And the same thing with Corbin Burns. He picked living in Arizona where he lives in the off season. He's not going to live in Baltimore in the off season. So it could just be a number of things. I think that's why Elias and then pushed the fences back to try to entice starting pitching back then, even though they moved them a little bit closer afterwards. That didn't work to entice starting pitching. So they've been trying to get it through the trade market. And there's no way that's their plan A. I just can't imagine. I imagine if they could get these pitchers in free agency, that would be, their main goal. But instead, they have to try to get them in the trade market. They have to try to draft, which I know is going to make a lot of people laugh because every other comment is the Orioles only draft outfielders. They do draft pitchers. They just do it a little bit later in the draft. So, yeah, I don't know the answer to that. I don't think it has anything to do with the city or anything because Camden Yards is a beautiful place and none of these guys have to live there. So I don't think it's that. I just think there's too many other options out there. And when you're talking about tens of millions of dollars, these guys unfortunately get to have their choice unless they're drafted to the organization, which is why that's where all the hope for the Orioles comes from, prospects and drafts, unfortunately. And sometimes you can get a guy like Pete Alonso to sign with you because he was massively disrespected for 3 straight off seasons from the franchise he was a legend with. And I think that's the only reason Baltimore got to get him.
Here comes an interesting trade. Foster Griffin, 31 years old, I believe, all-star, right? And
Rookie.
I think he was a quality pitcher.
Yeah.
And now he's on his way to a team that has quality pitchers, has a quality bullpen, has a quality closer. What do you think of this one? Sloane, Foster Griffin, from the Washington Guardians, as you remember, Foster Griffin, an all-star. As now are they in play because they are right in the thick of things?
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to, because I can't see from here who they got for him.
They got, let's see here. You might maybe put my glasses on.
Left-handers
They
Will
got
Dion.
left-handed pitcher.
There you go.
Yep.
Yeah, Josh Hartle.
Yep. Kangley's.
I'm gonna let you pronounce that, Joe.
All right. Yep. Nick Mitchell. And again, Sloane, Will Dion, Josh Hartle, Verghese, and Nick Mitchell. I don't know if you went to school with any of these guys, Sloane, but I got to be honest with you, I don't recognize any of them.
Yeah, I don't think I've heard of any of those. I think it's a good move for the Guardians, I guess. Like, I mean, they're more in the running than the Nationals.
Yeah, it's a great move for Washington as well. They get this guy pitching overseas. They get him for 1 year at what, $5 million. He pitches his ass off. They turn him into what, 3 prospects. So good for the Nationals, man. 4 prospects, my fault. Guy might win Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, and
Yeah, that's
so what
that's a
happened?
turn right there. That's good for them. Good
They
for Washington.
basically,
Yeah. Take a shot. Imagine if the Orioles would have
they
did that.
basically, yeah, basically the Orioles they went out and got a bunch of prospects for the future. I mean, but so they have. Is it fair to say now they cashed the season in,
I
right?
think so.
Is that okay to say now?
Yeah.
This
That's
season is
exactly how I
cooked.
feel.
Sean Ferguson, and
Yeah, it definitely feels.
last
It feels
but
like
never
it for
least,
sure.
Sloane. Is he done?
Yeah.
Did they cash it in, Sloane? They cashed it. It must be true. You sure about that look at Caden Hunter and Joseph Deriza, Orioles? Maybe one of you younger folks can translate that for me. I'm not sure I understood that. Anybody? Let me put it back up.
What are we looking at?
What is this question?
I don't know how young you think I
You
am, Joe
sure
Rossano.
about that look at Caden Hunter and Joseph Dwyza, Orioles? I'm just not sure I understood that question or that comment.
Joseph Girla? Is that
Yeah,
what it's called?
Yeah, but what?
So yeah,
No,
I'm
but
not sure if I understand it either.
Yeah, he was our best pitching
okay.
prospect
Yeah.
until today.
Caden Hunter, he's the one who just got promoted. One of the ones, right?
Yeah, they're both really good, so I'm not sure.
Yeah. I don't know what that's
what
saying.
the comment.
Are they saying, are you sure Ianson's the new best pitching prospect, maybe?
He is. He is a top
He
50
definitely is.
prospect in all of baseball, yeah.
Yeah, I would say he's absolutely still is. And I
He's the
think,
best
Girla
prospect in the
and,
Orioles system now, I would imagine, right?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
he's the
I mean,
number one
that's
prospect.
why I was saying how great of a haul that was, because
Yeah.
a lot of people even said, even with just him coming back, that was probably a great deal. And you add 3 more players on top of that. So the Orioles did really good with that trade.
If you type this trade into MLB trade values, which I know some people don't believe in, just Anthony Ianson is an overpay for the year and a half of Adley Rutschman by like a lot. So just that one player, according to that website, is an overpay. And then you add their 4 and 5 prospects, and I guess he's going to be our starting catcher for the time being. So yeah, that is a massive haul for Adley Rutschman, I would say.
So the New York Yankees, all right. I talked about them much. I believe Luis Garcia, right, from the Nationals. But where's their massive move?
They're working to acquire.
Heli Ramos.
They're working on that. Did they get him?
All right.
Yeah, they're finalizing
I think
that.
so.
He's not a real big time player, though, if you ask me. That's the
He's
Yankees.
hurt.
That's the Yankees panicking because they see how good the Rays are getting, if you ask me.
Yeah, I mean the Red Sox basically stole Rutschman from them.
Yeah, well, I don't think they could offer the package like we
No.
got from the Red Sox, so I think we're good there. Unless they want to throw in that George Lombard kid. I
They
don't
were
think
never
would
going to
do that.
offer enough for him.
Yeah. I'm surprised that Trevor Rogers is still a Baltimore Oriole. That shocks me. They must be trying to work out an extension.
I
with
thought
him.
with extending Bradish that Rogers was definitely gone by the deadline.
I can't believe he's still going to be in an Orioles uniform.
So the deadline is passed. It's 6:04 where I am, right?
Well, they could still be finalizing trades. Like the Padres just acquired Casey Mize after the deadline.
Oh, big one.
Yeah.
Guardians got Nathaniel Lowe.
Diamondbacks got Lars Nootbaar, but that was like 15 minutes ago.
Yep.
Now let's try to do like some winners and losers. Now we're moving into the analytics part of this. So, my opinion, the team that got the better was the Tampa Bay Rays. That is Joe Rossano's official statement. You get a quality starting pitcher, and you get a first baseman catcher that, again, only real baseball, not real baseball, but baseball folks like us know who that is, right? And he is a monster player. So as far as who got better, I really think the Tampa Bay Rays got better than anybody else has, but that's just my opinion. Let's say everybody. I mean, who got some studs?
The Dodgers won the trade deadline.
Dodgers won the trade deadline. Absolutely.
The Dodgers win. That's the Joe Mets official statement, Mr. Rossano.
Yeah, and I think they're the ones who got Bubic too. I'm like, why even go get Bubic when you just got Skubal and you already have a great rotation?
Like, what's the point?
Yeah,
no
one's beating them.
Throwaway guy that Orioles fans would have been pumped to get that they may not even start.
Exactly.
They just got Chris Bubic as just in case we need a guy for some innings down the stretch.
Yeah, if I saw that we got Chris Bubic, I would have been thrilled.
Yeah, I would have been happy with that.
Exactly.
I'm going to make a point for the Baltimore Orioles real quick. It's not the point I want to make, but if they would have went full sell mode, I would have counted them as one of the winners of the trade deadline. But the fact that Andrew Kittredge, Trevor Rogers, Rico Garcia, the fact that all these guys are still going to be wearing an Orioles uniform, I think they kind of missed on the deadline. But I do think that they are going to appear in some winners of the trade deadline list just because of that haul from the Boston Red Sox. But I think they should have just gone full meltdown mode and just got rid of everyone. And they didn't do that. So I'm not going to add them as a list of my winners. But I think they did good for what they did do outside of the Taylor Ward trade, which was abysmal. But the Dodgers, I'll end on that.
I mean, us not
I think the
Trevor
Dodgers
Rogers
win it for sure.
Very surprising.
That's weird. It makes no sense.
Yeah. Or Garcia, Rico Garcia. That one, like you said, too, Joe, makes no sense.
Not trading Rico. He has a breakout season. How old is he? 33. A breakout season at 33 with 5 years of control. Yeah. You got to get rid of that guy if you're selling. Andrew Kittredge. Teams are always looking for bullpen help. Kittredge has tons of postseason experience. You got to get rid of Kittredge. And they did none of that. So if I don't hear an extension with Trevor Rogers in the next week or two, I would never understand not trading him at this deadline. Pirates acquire Lake Bashar, if anyone cares.
Oh,
wow.
That's big news. Now, we appreciate that. I mean, just now, interesting. This one's really interesting. Just a baseball nerd thing. The Toronto Blue Jays trade Kevin Gausman to the Cubs. Okay, Gausman's 35. They're not paying him. He's a free agent. Got it. Got it. But then they add, I believe, right? And they also add talent. So, what are they trying to do here, considering that they are worse off than the Orioles? Are they not?
I didn't hear the first part. Who
They
are we
get
talking about?
they no, they got sorry the Blue Jays.
The Blue
They
Jays. Yeah,
they
okay.
trade
Yeah, weird
they
trade
trade
deadline.
Gosman to the Cubs. That's that. But like I say, he's 35. You know, he's not coming back next season to the Blue Jays. They're not gonna he's a free agent. Allen and Soriano, who is some would say towards the front of the rotation starting pitcher from Anaheim. Why did they get pitchers? Talent, nothing wrong with talent, and Soriano certainly having a pretty good season. Pitchers when again, they're in worse shape than the Orioles. They think they're going to have some monster comeback and go back to the World Series. I mean, I was just surprised that they weren't more like the Orioles and just sold everybody. Uh, Sean Ferguson, am I wrong again?
No, I was surprised when I saw Kevin Gosman on the move. I was surprised by that too. I didn't expect him to do a ton today. Maybe a little bit more of what the Orioles did, like especially when Gosman went. So yeah, I was a little surprised. But again, I mean, you can go back to the same thing what the Orioles did. You expected them to do more today too. Now, it started off terrible with that Ward trade, but the haul that we got for Rutschman was fantastic. I love that we got Forrest back from Tampa Bay in that trade for Tyler Wells. So, but yeah, at the same time, you could have seen the Orioles do more too. So you can kind of go say it's a two-way street. Like I wish we did more, but you also thought the Blue Jays could do more too. So not just them.
Yeah, I think the Blue Jays are just preparing for next
Joe
year. It
Mets.
sounds like. Yeah, they're getting
Yeah.
controllable
I
talent,
was thinking that too.
and they think they're going to compete next year. And I just want to say, if you guys don't think our phones are listening to us, the MLB Trade Rumors just posted, it's a standalone article that says Orioles to hold Trevor Rogers, and I feel like that was exclusively for me. So shout
Wow.
out to MLB Trade Rumors. The phones are listening.
Well,
It's
do
real.
tell for us that for us that what did you get?
Listen, the title of the article is just Orioles to hold
Yeah.
Trevor Rogers. They made a whole article just to let us know that Trevor
Yeah,
Rogers
I
is
say it
not,
now too.
in
Yeah,
fact,
the
on the
Orioles
move.
to hold Trevor Rogers.
Yeah. It says more to come. I don't know
He's
what else they
staying
can
with
say
the
I
about
don't
it.
know what else they can say.
Yeah, more to come. But yeah, I think the Blue Jays are preparing for
Maybe
next year.
I'll tell
and
you what
that's
can
an
be
okay
said.
thing.
Are they making an offer to extend Trevor Rogers? Two things. One, I don't hate it.
Me
Sean
neither.
Ferguson, I will tell you this. Framber Valdez got a lot of money. Ranger Suarez got a lot of money. Two left-handers. I would put Trevor Rogers, somewhere in. So that's 30 million plus a season. Do they extend him?
I mean, I think that you can get Rogers way cheaper than some of the guys that we talked about that you could have got this offseason, like Fromber or Ranger Suarez. And I still think you get a really good quality pitcher. And like Joe said, it took a year and a half for him to actually be good enough to count that trade as a win-win for both of us. We didn't expect him to have the same season that he had last year, but he's had after a slow start this year, really good comeback season. And yeah, I mean, honestly, I feel like this move kind of points towards that. I think they definitely, if they even are writing articles and put it on our phones that they're going to keep them, I think they're keeping them because they're going to sign them to a longer term deal. And if that's the case, I wouldn't be mad at it. I mean, you got Boz for a while, you got Bradish for a while, you add Rogers to that. That's three very nice starting pitchers to put in your rotation going into next season. So I definitely think that's what that means is I think they're holding them because they're going to extend them.
I hope so.
I mean, again, I'm going to say what you just said, Sean Ferguson. I don't hate that. I really don't. Sloane Johnson, if they extend Trevor Rogers, uh, do you hate it? Not hate it? Is it giving you the ick? I've been dying to say that. I know that's a Gen Z thing. Did Trevor Rogers not give you the ick?
No, I wouldn't hate it.
Yeah, I
He doesn't give me
mean,
the ick anymore. He
I
did at first.
you know, there you go. That's it. That's it. I'll tell you, anybody watching, one thing you don't want to do is give someone the ick. I hear that's pretty bad. It's a little over outside my radar, of course. I just heard that like 4 days ago from some 19-year-old yelling at another one.
That was
But
my nickname in high school, the Ick. That's what everyone called me, dude.
there's a freaking surprise.
So everyone called me the Ick.
You and Michael Sullivan.
Me and Michael.
I love it. Let's see here. The Orioles don't draft pitchers under Elias, and they don't pay the big bucks for free agents.
Not true at all. Come
Between a
on,
rock
man.
and a hard place. No. Well, who's he draft? Except this year. I mean, really, I always get back to this, Joe Metz. Where did Cam Schlittler come from? Will Warren, Conley Early, Peyton Tolley. Where did they get these fellas?
How
I
many
mean,
teams are
we
in
had like
Major League
number one
Baseball, Joe?
overall picks.
How many teams are in Major
Yeah,
League
but
Baseball? How many have founded Cam
30.
Schlittler?
But
It
how
just
do we
doesn't
miss
happen
these
a whole lot.
guys?
Yeah, it's not every team is not drafting a Cam Schlittler in whatever round he won. I just think Orioles fans stop
No.
watching after the first pick and they see that we got another outfielder and then they stop. The Orioles do pick up pitchers in the 4th and 5th round. It's just not their philosophy. They want to go with the best available player. And has it worked out? No, not for the most part, but that's just their philosophy. So, and they do pay people. They have extended people. They gave Pete Alonso $150 million. That's nothing to sneeze at, especially when no other team was offering him that. They actually outbid teams on Pete Alonso. They have what, $180 million.
And they went after Schwarber before Schwarber said no.
Yeah, they went after Schwarber. They do go after guys. I hate this narrative. Even the not to get into old Orioles stuff, but even the Angelos narrative that he never spent money. He did. He just added really good players to really shitty teams. That's what he did his entire tenure as a Orioles owner, except for those mid-90s teams where he got a really good collection of talent. But he would add a Miguel Tejada to an otherwise shitty team. And that was his MO there for a long time, just to sell tickets. And it never won us baseball games, but they did spend money. They were the highest payroll in baseball a couple of years under Peter Angelos. It's just an old narrative of Orioles fans that just isn't true. And this ownership is actually spending. So $180 million payroll isn't enough. I mean, that's enough to build a winning baseball team, if you ask me. They just didn't bet on the right horses. And that's what it comes down to.
As we conclude, let me do this one more time. TikTok and Instagram, definitely check out Sloane Johnson. That is very charismatic, Sloane Johnson. My client, Sloane Johnson. I'm her agent. So if you guys need her, give me a call first, please.
I just got that
Sloane
ick,
Johnson,
man.
around the bases on what's that?
You just gave me the ick, bro.
No, Sloane Johnson does not give the ick, folks. Believe me, she can't wait to get off here because we probably gave her the ick. So we're sorry if we gave you the ick, Sloane. Joe Metz, METT. Joe knows O's, and that too. Check him out on TikTok. Excellent analysis, and I got to tell you, I watch all the time, and that is a great place to check him out. Again, TikTok. Joe knows O's with Joe Metz. Sean Ferguson. Gracie, I wholeheartedly appreciate you hanging out several times, and thank you so much for that. And you could catch Sean Ferguson, Orioles Today. He doesn't have to be here. He's just trying to be nice. Orioles Today, and that is youtube.com at Orioles Today. I believe, is it 10 a.m. or 11 a.m. where we can catch Sean Ferguson daily? Two can be winners. Where are we seeing this? Is this 11 a.m., sir?
11 a.m. Yes, sir.
11 a.m. Once again, Orioles Today, youtube.com at Orioles Today. I know that I speak for everyone here for the brilliant Michael Sullivan, the handsome Matt Faulkner. Those fans, we all individually and collectively just really appreciate you guys watching all our shows, all our analysis. And it never goes overlooked. Thank you so much. As the very wise Sean Ferguson once said, do not forget to high five that subscribe button on your way out. And we do appreciate it. Joe Metz, Joe knows I really, really appreciate it. Again, around the bases underscore, and you can catch her on TikTok and Instagram. Sloane Johnson, the very charismatic Sloane Johnson, joining us from Ocean City, Maryland. Sloane Johnson, wow, thank you so much for taking time out of your vacation. Very nice of you. Have yourself a wonderful time.
Yeah.
Ferguson, thank you so much for joining. I love the show. I check it out every morning. And again, folks, thank you all so much. Everybody here, if you get the opportunity, please adopt yourself a pet. I say, God bless you, O's fans. Thank you for the brilliant Michael Sullivan, the handsome Matt Faulkner. I'm Joe Rossano. God bless you, and we will see you next time.